have talked or seen each other since all this has occurred.
Yeah. I won't disagree with what he's stating. At this point, this is when I moved to Fontana with Kyle, and overall, it was a selfish act. I didn't know that Javonte had. I didn't know that they were distant. I thought they were still together, and I felt, and this is probably my immature self, that if I'm his good friend, you should trust me. I'm not trying to fuck or mess with Marcus. Like when we had our conversation, I'm still was in love with Karan at the time, and we just shared those situations. And I had no one out there when I moved out there, so in a sense of loyalty, I should have reached out and said, Javonte, how do you feel about this? But my immature, selfish self at that time was like, I'm a grown man. Why do I need to even contact someone? I'm going to do what I need to do. I just want to hang out. He's a cool person. I hung out with him at Maverick Flats. I thought they were still together. If you trust me, I don't want to be with him. So at that time, I wasn't thinking about no one else but myself. I was just like, I want to hang out with you. You're 10 minutes away, and you're the only person I really know out here. That's how simple it was for me. I never denied that I was at his house when he asked me. I was a little upset because I was like, why is he questioning me? Why is he so upset with me? Like, it didn't click. I thought he would have been like, okay, just hanging out with him. So for me, it was just more like, it was someone that I felt that I could trust in a time that Karan left to the military and left me. So I really didn't trust Kyle at the time because Kyle was all over the place. And I just was like, this is someone that's closer opposed to Javonte being out way down there. So I don't deny that he's wrong. I didn't want to date him. I didn't want to be with him, but I did want a friendship. I did want someone that I felt with a character that Javonte chose to be with that was a cool person. I was talking to Andre, but we weren't dating. We were just talking that we met at that Wrestling Mania thing you do.
WrestleMania. Yes.
Yes, and we never done anything. We never even like exchanged pictures or anything, but I would say, I won't lie, Mark is charismatic and warm feeling. I was attracted to be around someone that was caring. And I felt like, not that he's not, I don't know, I just was in a different place mentally that, like, the person I thought I was going to be with the rest of my life just left. And I wasn't thinking about anyone. So I don't think he's not wrong with the way he feels.
I do remember you calling, like, we talked on the phone about it, when I said, Javonte is really pissed at you. And I do remember how it did not click in your head.
No,
how that could be like misconstrued, but you being on Snapchat at Marcus' house.
Oh, I never denied that. Like, I never.
Yeah, but it didn't click for you. Like how you said, like, why would he have an issue with me hanging out with him?
I mean, I guess in my mind it's like my friends. I would never be upset with my friends hanging out with someone I'm dating.
Exactly.
Like, until I did talk to him about, like, after the whole, when I knew how upset he was, because I called him when I was in Florida. And I knew, I was like, okay, this guy's like really mad at me. Like, this is not normal, Russell. Like, I'm being totally selfish. And I kind of felt how he felt when he hung out with Karan. So I know how, not you did that on purpose. That's not your fault. Karan reached out to him. And Javonte did nothing wrong. But I could feel how he felt what I did. But everything, that wasn't on him. So I felt like that's when everything clicked for me. I was like, I get it.
And this was just that is a fast forward moment to where Javonte is now, I would say, friends with now your ex-boyfriend,
which is fine to me. Like, I did call him at one point. I was angry. Mm-hmm. It had nothing to do with Javonte. It had to do with, like, I'm not with him and I'm mad because me and him haven't been able to talk and he doesn't want to talk. Whatever, that's another story. But it had nothing to do with Javonte. Like, Javonte's never done anything wrong or manipulative or destructive to me. It was just, I was sad and I was selfish. So I wasn't thinking, like, I wasn't thinking about anyone else but myself at this time. I was thinking, I wasn't. I don't know how to say it in another word.
Can I just share some? So, okay. So, after
a stroke.
Okay. Shut up. I was looking at the word, but I don't know, it just disappeared out of my head as I was about to say. Interject. There we go. So Russell and I did not speak at least a year and a half after that. And then I remember getting a call from you. And it was like an apology, but the apology was like a half-assed apology. So I remember Russell calling and he said, hey, you got a minute to talk? So we were talking and he was like, I called to, apologize, whatever. I was talking to some people and they were sharing with me like how I may have been wrong. And so it was two things that you said. One thing was like, and this is how it came off and how I received it, and it may not been your intent, but it seemed like you were apologizing because I guess a couple of people that you talked to about it felt like you were in the wrong. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to call and apologize because the mass majority feel like I did something wrong, even though I may not feel like I did something wrong. And then also, and you say I'm calling to do. Would you say I'm doing this for you or something like that? Almost like as if I don't know. For me, it was like you're calling to give me apologize, not necessarily because you felt sincere about your apology, but
I'm
more
calling
so
to give you peace.
Yeah, pretty much for me. And I was like,
So you can move on with your life.
right. I'm like, well, what the fucking apology is this? So I was like, okay, whatever. So I just let it go, and time moved on. And then the second time you called was like, I guess when you said you were in Florida, and when you found out that your ex and I were now friends, and I don't know if you, and this was my thought process. You feel some way because of your intent, maybe when you were trying to be friends with Marcus. You can say you don't or whatever, but you just said that you were thinking about stuff in that moment. And even though you may be getting over someone, the old saying goes, you get over someone, get under someone. And so when you're trying to maneuver through this process and get your mind off of it, like you say, you're thinking about yourself, you would, in my opinion, you were able to do anything in that during that time. And so that's why I didn't trust it, as far as like, you're my friend, but I don't trust you being with him because I know what space that you're in as far as with your ex. So you may want to fuck him to try to feel like get some type of what is the
closure?
Yeah, or not even closure, but just some type of like fucking outlet from the situation that you were going through.
I can see that,
time.
but like I wasn't thinking about fucking. I wasn't gonna fuck Marcus. I mean, I wasn't. Yes, selfish, but even to this day, I've talked to Dennis and people like, and I'm pretty sure I don't even mind putting it out there. Is like I'm not over Karan, and like I wasn't even. I'm still dealing with that. So.
Wait, you're not over Karan?
Let's not get into that.
Alert
right
the
now.
media.
So, and it's like, I'm not going to sit there and try to, like, go fuck him, or even that there's so many other niggas on Jack, whatever you want to do. And, like, to me, that would have been the ultimate cross. Like, if I'll be honest, if I would have fucked him, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be sitting here, because I'd be like, that's just no point to even talk to you, because I already fucked him, and that's fucked up. So, you can't really come back unless someone chooses. But for me, it was just a selfish act, and sometimes I am selfish, even though I try to be selfless. But in that moment, it was a lot of ugly stuff going on, and I could see how that can see from you. Like, this guy is in a vulnerable state. So maybe if Marcus did offer a suck, Russell probably would have done it, or probably you don't know what could have happened. But
and so and then even with the whole, like, so at that point, after all this has happened, I'm just like, I'm over, I'm done, and so. But going back to how I operate in self, even with Karan and I being friends, and I don't want to drag it out because I don't want to drag him in this. I
just want to put that doesn't even bother me.
But at first it did.
When I reached out to you because I was out of anger, but it doesn't even bother. At that point, it bothered me because I was hurting for what I did to you, and I was like, there's nothing wrong with, like, who am I to say anything about their friendship or relationship? And it was more like, no, I was more jealous and upset because I don't get to see him, and I can't be around him, and I'm in fucking Dubai and I can't get to you, and you guys are eating freaking, I don't know, some veggie meat, and like, I was
vegan.
Yeah, he was vegan.
Veggie Grill. If anybody's vegan, go to Veggie Grill. Plug. I love Veggie Grill.
They're good. I go there occasionally, Pasadena, but it was jealousy. It was. I was jealous of you. What did I do wrong that I couldn't be friends with him, and you're able to be friends with him? So, and you told me, you're like, Russell, Karan came to me. I didn't reach out. I was like, okay, I can't be mad at Javante. That's on Karan, and if they have a good friendship, they're adults, so I can't.
And let's be clear. Like, when I first even met his ex, like back on Jefferson, when I stayed on Jefferson, like the first time I met him, I didn't think he liked me because of how quiet and closed off he was. But then eventually, like, he came around, and he would always share, like, which would make me feel like, oh, like, like, I like what you're doing for yourself, blah blah blah, and kind of like almost like look up to you like as a brother type of situation, or he was like impressed by like some of the things I have accumulated at that point. And so, but just the person that I am, because of I know how easily things can look differently when it comes to being gay and friends with someone that has a partner, or being too close to your friend's partner. I never chose to have a close relationship with his ex at that time, mainly because I didn't want any lines to get blurred or anything like that. I didn't have his number. And so when we start to become cool and friends, at this point, this man lives thousands of miles away, and he's in the service. And at this point, I'm like, okay, when we start talking, of course, I was a little what is the word?
Apprehensive.
There we go. We all fucking up on words today.
Okay.
On like, I guess, befriending him or being close to him, because I didn't know where they were with things, and I'm like, okay, now this is now tying me back to Russell, and we're not talking, so I didn't know from what angle it was coming from, and after talking to him, it was like, okay, well, you just want a friend, like you are out there by yourself, you don't have nobody to talk to. From my understanding, he didn't have many friends when he was even here, so you'd be even further in everybody maneuvering, living their life, whatever. And so we literally just became friends, and I just became someone for him to talk to. And so when Russell did reach out to me, he was upset, and you were
I was very upset.
very aggressive.
Yes, I was.
This was
very
all over the
aggressive.
phone
This was all over the
Yeah,
phone.
phone.
And my thing was like,
It was aggressive?
It was aggressive.
Okay.
No,
And-
I was running the freeway.
How did it start?
I was.
Javante.
No, it was
No,
like
it-
it was sharp. It was. This is not a friendly phone call.
It was almost as if like it's like you got a minute to talk. I'm like, yeah. So on a call, it's like, yeah, what's up? Well, did you want me to call you?
Yeah, it was. It
And
was
so-
like
I hate when he does that. Let me just mention this real quick. Russell will call you on the phone and then say you don't pick up. You call him back, and this nigga will say, "Yeah, what's up?"
Like as if you bothering him.
Exactly. Like, nigga, you just called me, or you just said call me or something like that. You would just say like, "What you want?"
okay.
I don't know why you do that.
It's not.
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't mean that, but I didn't mean that way. I was angry. And no, I mean that's honest. Like I was angry. I was
It's
sharp.
funny because I've never seen you angry, so that's
because
why.
it
Javante
was
has
like
felt the brush
I
of
was
it.
no. I'm not angry. I wasn't angry with him. I look back on it. I was angry with the fact that they had a friendship, and I felt like I failed. So I was putting out what I felt, my insecurities, onto Javante. So that was the real truth behind it. And like in all, like it's just me working through that process. Like I was just like bitter and sour. Like he's accomplished what I failed to do. So again, it goes back to the root of jealousy. And I didn't have anything nice to say.
Well, for me, even having a conversation, and I told him this, I could be selfish and make it seem like it's more than what the fuck it's not. But we are nothing more than just friends. Because, I mean, if outside looking in, if only thing you see is like a glimpse from a 15-second video from Snapchat or Instagram, you don't know what the fuck is going on. You just see two people hanging out constantly, and it's like, and you don't have no contact with this person. And the last thing you know when y'all fell out is because of, what they feel like you were trying to do with their ex. Of course, I'm sure the mental space that it can place you in. And so for me, it was like, I could have played off of that and not take the call, and it's like, well, you think whatever you want to think, whatever. But I made sure in that conversation I said, nothing has ever happened, nothing would ever happen with he and I. We are just solely friends. And so I want that to be very clear that that's not my get down, and that's not who I am as a person. And so
I agree with that.
so that's how that conversation went. But I feel like Russell was still in his feeling upset to where it was like, well, yeah, I can be friends, but at the same time, I don't. You didn't say that until after I gave that statement of, we ain't doing nothing like that, and that ain't what it is.
Even when I hung up, I was still mad. But it was more.
Sure.
It was more what he said about the friendship and whatever they have that they developed. And I know Karan very well that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
When I sat back and reflected, and that's why I did leave and travel, because I was hurt. I had to get out of here, and I had to think back that I know him and I know who he is and how he operates. But at the same time, I got back and I'm like, who am I to interject their relationship? Like, he made a decision and they're friends. I can't come between that. I don't have the right to even speak on that. So even as I did because I was angry, but when I had time to think and really see myself, I was just like, a lot of checks were wrong with what I'd done. And I didn't think. It was emotions. Everything was emotions. And that's something I've worked on and went to therapy for, because it's not right to just go off your emotions, and most of the time you're wrong when you do that. So that, I don't disagree with whatever they're going through. So I think I'm not like I'm going to take the blame that if I would just call Javante and said, hey, back in 2016 when I decided to try to reach out to Mark, hang out with him, how do you feel about this? I think things would have been totally different. It was a lack of respect I had for him. I didn't think about him, and that's wrong. That's just, you don't do that if you call someone your friend, and I failed at that part of myself. So it's a learning lesson, but it's something that I regret, because he's been nothing good to me and tried to coach me. And when I was having problems with relationships in my life and my grandma and my family, and I fucked up a good friend because of being selfish. So
Damn, I will take a shot to that.
Okay, that's who you want.
Shit. Woo. That was a lot. And then I like what you said about how you can, all of us watch, of course, like people's videos on Snapchat or Instagram, and we could create our own narrative to what we're watching.
For sure.
With that and that. And then the person that is making the video, they can create their own narrative for you that could be something that is not too.
yeah, that's true. But knowing the time I've known him, it was completely platonic and friendship. He was just being a good friend that I know because he's done that for me. So.
Yeah, and thinking about it, well, not like to to sway you in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking if Russell was on like sneaky shit like with Marcus,
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't like post it. I would think he would like keep it secret, like keep it to the vest, to where he wouldn't post it on Instagram, on social media for you to see it, or
I
at
don't
least
know.
take you off so it will be hidden from you.
No, I don't. And not. This is not just.
That was just my thought, just thinking about it.
And it's not just like a Russell thing. I don't think that. I think people in general are in the moment for the most part, and they don't really consider, like, oh, this person will see it, whatever. This person will see it, whatever. I don't think people are. They care that enough, or thinking about it that deeply about, this makes
That might come down later if you're being serious. It's like.
I didn't.
It's about self. I don't
give
give a fuck what he's thinking about.
Yeah. So I don't think that it would have. I don't think that, because I don't think that it would have been that much of a thought, because you're enjoying the moment. So if you're enjoying the moment of being around the person that you want to be around, then you're gonna snap and do whatever the fuck you want to do. To where, I mean, you know me, I'm a king of. Whoever I'm around, please believe you are going to be in the video, and somebody would say something. It's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, okay, well, let me.
It took me a long time to get used to that. I used to hate, because you
and
love
everybody
recording when nniggas don't have haircuts.
I love documenting every moment.
Like once 3 months.
Every moment, I love documenting.
Oh, fuck. So you guys, question.
Okay.
Where do you guys want to go from here? Where you guys want to go from here?
Russell's, he's about to answer.
Okay.
For me, I've always treated him as a friend. I want him as a friend. I have to figure out how to, if it does go friendship, or how to separate. Like, if, say, for example, let's go to the future. Let's say I'm at a party and him and Karan are there. I don't know where I'm at with him, not Javante. I don't know if I'm ready for that for me and him. Like, I don't know how I would be able to deal with that. But other than that, I never had a problem with him. I think I've talked to you 1,000 times. I never, there's nothing wrong with him to me. Like, I don't have a problem with Javante. I've never had an issue with him, his character. It's just a situation that was wrong. So for me, I'm a very patient person. If he wanted to go separate ways, I respect that, because everyone is on a journey and developing where they're at. If he wanted to resurface a friendship, I'm okay with that too. But at the same time, whatever respects his mental health and where he's at was healthy for him. So for me, I have no problem. either or, whatever is healthy for him. That's how I look at it. So that's how I feel.
Come on, Russell.
What? No, that's how I've thought about this the last 3 years, and it's been bothering me.
I'm sure.
And I'm like trying not to cry because I learned just being out there that a lot of people don't fucking care about you. Mm-hmm. And he's always cared about me. And it's hard when you go through life. You see people underneath you, and they act like they care, and they don't care about you.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with that. I have recycled through a lot of people through the years, and Javonte has been consistent to the point where it's annoying. Can't get rid of the roach.
Why you gotta be a roach? Why can't be a
project roach?
Why can't he be a guardian? Why can't he be a guardian?
Okay, well he's an angel.
Yeah,
he's a nice young man.
He is a nice. I mean, you know that. So.
Yes, he tries his best.
I do try my best.
Yes.
I would say for me, I am just finally in a peaceful space in life, and it has took so much to get here, and it's been the biggest journey of my life, and I want to make sure. Well, I wanted to make sure that we did have this conversation because Dennis has been trying to make this conversation happen for over the last 3 years.
Yes. And because
he's been very adamant about it.
I've told Javonte I want this happen so bad because, as we know, I do not have a lot of friends, and I like to hang out with all my friends at one time because I feel like y'all don't see me often in like a social setting.
That's very true.
When everybody's together, I could knock it all out in one hit. And then it's cool to where I can be like, oh, I talked to Russell today, or I talked to Javonte today, and you guys are talking as well, and nobody's saying, let's get back to fucking now. Not fucking, but let's get back to where we were. It would be cool just to say, oh, let's move on, move everything in the past, and moving forward compared to, and not swaying either of you guys' answers. Let's never talk about this again. Don't bring up that bitch ass nigga. Oh, he tried to steal my nigga.
No, it's never.
Wait, why? Wait.
Don't.
That was not my word. Let's quote me right.
Yes, that's never been said
okay,
in the last 3 years or now.
That's what you get.
Well, I would say I was very clear. I was like, I do not want to talk to him. He made his decision.
Yeah,
it is what it is, and I was very, very clear in that. Yeah. And so Dennis has over the last 3 years have brought it up, and even tried bringing it like in a funny way, like, well, what if Russell comes? So I'm like, boy, don't play with me.
I have invited you to so many things to Javonte.
Well, let me just say this. So, going into, even when Dennis pitched the idea of like, well, how about we bring Russell onto Cocktails and Conversation to have this conversation, I still was like, no. But then I have been doing as of late is to, even though I say no right off the back, I will sit back and I will think about it and I will assess it and say, well, maybe there is some conversation that needs to be had because this is our first time sitting down face to face, having a conversation. We haven't done this in I don't know how long, at least over 3 years. And from whatever come from it, I think that we both owed it to each other to sit down in person and have the conversation. But just going back to the piece that I have, coming into this conversation, even today, I was like, I'm done. And I don't want anything to do with this person. But at the same time, I have a hard time throwing people away because nobody threw me away when I have needed people the most. So it's challenging to kind of just write someone off 100. And after hearing you speak and take ownership, that is one of the biggest things for me with anyone, whether I'm in a relationship or friendship, any kind of relationship I engage with, even familyship. You know, if someone can stand in their truth and say, this is what I did or this is where I was at that time, you have to respect it. You can't do nothing but respect that. And so I would say moving forward, I'm not running into no friendship or jumping back into no friendship. I'm clear about that, because when somebody do show you who you are, you have to believe them. And so, and I'm a fine believer of that as well. And so I will say, I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation to where I will hope you don't think that I hate you or have a level of hatred in my heart for you, because I don't hate anyone. But I don't know how close we will be able to be because of that situation. And it was beyond, it was bigger than you, but you infuse yourself into a huge situation. So you infuse yourself with someone, which was my first love and my first heartbreak. And going through the process of the heartbreak, that's when you infuse yourself to where everything that's associated with that heartbreak or memories of that, part of that is you. And so it will be hard for me to have a close friendship with you in the way that we once did before. I just don't see us getting there. But at the same time, I'm open to, because we do have a mutual friend, and it is Dennis. So I don't want to be the person like, oh, well, if this person coming, I'm not coming. Or you invite that person, I'm not attending, or I'm not participating. I feel like it's unfair to him. And so if you guys can have y'all friendship and go through the evolution of whatever y'all have went through, who am I to stand in the middle of you being present for something because he and I may be closer? And so if Dennis was to have something or to do something, if you were there, I can be in the same room with you, the same space with you, and be cordial with you. But as far as you and I being friends, I don't know what that looks like. And from what you're sharing and saying today, is showing a huge level of growth. But for me, time will only tell. Because people have always told me certain things or have said certain things, and you believe them.
Their actions,
but yeah, exactly. So,
and this is not a defense mechanism or a defense statement I'm making. Like when all that was going on, like I wasn't even aware. I thought you guys was still together. Not that makes it right or wrong or which way you want to look at it, but for me, I was just like, we were sitting there talking, and most of the conversation me and Marcus had was me pouring out like, what did I do wrong with Karan? So I honestly, I really still thought y'all were together. So when I saw you were upset with it, I was like, well, why is he upset? I didn't know there was a breakup. I didn't know until like I got the call from you. So then that kind of recollect, okay, then there must be an issue. But I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not like make an excuse or anything that it took me to make those decisions. I just wanted to say I just wasn't aware what was really going on.
Right, but even once you were made aware, you still were making a selfish decision.
Because I feel like you were trying to control me as a person, what actions I should make, and I was upset because from my upbringing, I've never been controlled. Like I've always been head of my household, and everyone's listened to me. So for someone to say try to control me, I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not trying to get at him. If I was trying to do that, I can see that, but looking back on it, I see where your position is, but my intentions were never to like be with Mark. My intentions was to figure out how to make myself better and be more appealing to Karan. So I was never trying to like, Mark was never in the picture to me. So I was looking at, I can see how that can be disturbing, clearly, but I'm upset with your answer. I think everyone owes that to himself to hold on to their peace.
Yeah, and because I just for the sake of us not talking in circles, I just will go back to the ownership that you took, as into you were just thinking about self. Because even any rebuttal I can say or situation or whatever that transpired around the time, it does go back to, it makes perfect sense of you thinking about self. And so just to get that's when like I can move beyond that. But just where I am, we need to continue. You living your life, I'm living my life, and if we come across paths, it's no bad blood on my end for sure. And honestly, I know that I needed this. Whether and thank you for being open to doing it, because you were supposed to do it last weekend and you didn't do it. But but I would say thank you for doing it, because it didn't matter honestly what you said. I know that still, for myself to be freed 100, I know that I needed to have this conversation with you, to express how I felt in person, so that you get it. Whether you received it or not, I would have been able to kind of like wipe my hands with it. But it is helpful to see that you have grown, because like you said, as your friend, and as I'm friends with anybody, I want nothing but the best for my friends. As I am soaring and exceeding in life and doing certain things in life, I want my friends to do just as well as me, if not better. And so I still want great and amazing for you. I've never not wanted great or amazing for you. When I did see you, via social media, traveling, experiencing new places, I'm like, oh, that's good for him, because I know these are things that he wants to do. But I wasn't invested in it enough to call and say, well, how's it going? Because of where I was at in the whole situation. But it was still like, well, at least he's traveling the world and doing things he want to do. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's doing it. I don't, and it was none of my business on how you was doing it. And so, so to say all that is to say that I still have mad love for you. That would never change. But I will still probably be very distance. But if we ever come across each other, or Dennis do something here at his home and we both are invited, I definitely still would show up. It would be no funny acting or anything like that. Like, my thing was, if I can move, and the reason why I have been able to move forward with Mark is because I was just as pissed and as furious with him as I was with you. And so the only reason why he and I have been able to move forward was because of he hearing me out and kind of like, okay, well, whatever the case may be. But for you, it seemed like you didn't take ownership in the situation, and it seemed like just like, just where you were then. Not talking about now, but then, it's just like, well, I can move forward with this person because me as a friend, I would have done anything for you, and, would just whatever. And, in closing for me, I just hope that if you do get another friend that is like me, that you would cherish it. Because one thing I have learned is that people is not a friend to me at the extent that I am to them. But part of my purpose is I'm a caregiver, so I'm not going to knock my blessings of being there for someone because they're not there to the extent that I am. I'm there for them that they are for me. Oh, it's tongue twister. But and I wish nothing but amazing things in your life. I think you going to school to be a national social worker and to work with the military, that is something that they fucking need. I'm in school for psychology, so it's all within the same rim. Mental health is fucking real. And I think that is amazing that you're doing that. And I hope that you see it fully through because it's needed. It is for sure needed. And especially in that realm. Like, sure, you may become a billionaire because of that, but, and so I do wish you well. I wish the best for you. And I hope things do go up from here. And it's nothing but positive things. And for my own peace and sanity, I hope this is something that we both are able to put behind us and move forward. But I don't know if just like you said, I don't know if I would ever be cool with you and Marcus being friends. I'm gonna throw that out there. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna throw it out there. And be clear and transparent. I ain't gonna lie. Just because of the womb that would continuously to open. I don't know if I'm that big yet. I don't. So that's where I'm at.
That is fine. Well, do we have any closing remarks on your end?
No, everything's been said directly, so I'm good.
Oh, well, thank you for coming on Cocktails and Conversations.
Well, thank you for having
I
me.
love it. And I'm excited to see where we go from here with the show. What other topics we're going to come up with?
Yeah.
Who else are we going to bring on? Is Kyle going to come back? I don't know.
Okay. Sit down between you and Kyle.
Okay, see what happened with that. I don't know.
No.
But anyways, I'm excited.
Mhm.
I'm excited about this happening all together.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the future. I feel like you guys will be friends in the future because we all become different people in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know where we're going to go from here. If you're still in America, because we know you can't stay in one fucking place. And if Javante doesn't get more bougie than he already is on me.
Whoa.
And then we'll see.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
We will see.
Don't you dare.
Because he was just talking about getting a bigger house a couple
Hey,
of weeks ago.
hey.
And that
Well,
might
that's-
talk about going further.
That's personal.
And you already living far from me.
No, I'm not going further.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, that's the furthest I'm going.
Oh, so Victorville is the furthest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, whoa. Don't get my,
Don't give a location. out.
Okay.
Oh, let me get an address now.
Okay. Yeah,
Right. Like, we all don't know about all these parties.
I know.
Okay? It's public
Only-
knowledge at this
There's only
point.
been one there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, thank you for listening to Cocktails and Conversations. This is Dennis.
Yes, and I'm Javante. Please like, share, and subscribe. We are on YouTube.
YouTube.
At Cocktails and the N symbol Conversations, and that's Cocktails with an S, Conversations with an S. On YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share.
And follow us on Instagram.
Yes, Instagram at Cocktails and Conversations is spelled out CC.
Yes.
So we're on Instagram at Cocktails and Conversations CC, and on Facebook at Cocktails and Symbol Conversations.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Boom.
Bye.